Roman here with you with Gold Real Estate Group, real estate at its finest. I'm bringing up a very important question that millions of Americans today have it on their mind. The decision is on the scales. Is it better to buy now or wait for the interest rates to come down? And so this is something that we have to approach not only emotionally, but logically. Look at the numbers, weigh everything out. And I believe that if you truly do this, you will be able to make a wise decision. The point of this video is that I could bring my knowledge, my market insight, deliver that to you, and also deliver an opinion that is not based on emotion, but strictly based on what I see: inventory, demand, the prices, where are they at right now? Everybody was betting on the real estate market to go down. I mean, everybody. They said, hey, once the rates hit sixes, once the rates hit sevens, once the rates hit eight, the real estate market is going to plummet. The interesting thing is, if we look at our market locally here in San Antonio, Texas, it has been stable. I mean, it weathered a storm that nobody predicted it would ever be able to be so stable amidst 8% mortgage rates. And I want to tell you the reason why is because our the transactions have fallen all the way down to the levels of 2008. So people are not selling, people are not buying, therefore there's not a huge influx of inventory. And because of this balance of supply and demand, the market is stable. This is telling us that the real estate market is not going anywhere unless we have just a huge influx of inventory into the market. We're gonna continue to be where we're at, even with 8% interest rates. So the following question to you is, if you truly have a desire to move, if you truly are looking at the home where you're at right now, or maybe you want to relocate to San Antonio, there's a lot of life events that will force you to move, either to downsize, to upsize. And what I know is, talking to so many people, we had a Thanksgiving gathering the other day, and I spoke to a gentleman and I asked him, hey, you're in an apartment, you're renting an apartment, is there a reason why you are not buying a home? And he said, isn't it a bad time to buy now? And I believe that millions of Americans are in that same boat. They need to buy, they would buy, but they're in this impression that these high interest rates 100% equal bad time to buy. And so before I break this down, the balance or the trade-off of, is it better to buy with a higher interest rate, less competition, or lower interest rate and masses of people? I mean, I'm remembering 2020, 2021, 15 offers on a single home on the second day, and you have people doing crazy things like waiving inspections, waiving appraisal contingencies, overpaying by $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. And so this is what happens when rates come down. The market is flooded with people who are buying. I mean, everyone is buying, but now there's something different going on. Rates are higher, right? Less competition. Yes, the house payment is a little bit higher, but you have to weigh out what's going on. Recently, I read an article, I'll put that on the screen. It's from the San Antonio Business Journal, and they're saying that new home permits by new home builders increased 20% in the month of October. So from the month of September to October, builders said, we are increasing new construction. We are building more. So these big corporations, Lennar, Perry, right? All of these big names, D.R. Horton, they have access to millions of dollars worth of data. They're able to almost look into the future and say, hey, there is demand. Maybe the demand is not here now, but we see that this whole year and a half where these rates have been high and transactions dropped by 1.5 million, that those people didn't go anywhere. That demand is still there. It's just behind this dam of high interest rates. If in 2020, 2021, we were close to 6 million transactions, now in 2023, while the rates are up, right, we are at 4.5 million. Those people that would be buying, they're not buying because of the high interest rates. That tells us one thing. If we logically look, that means that these buyers are just building up. There's more and more people that needed to buy 6 months ago, that needed to move, that needed to sell, and they didn't, because the only thing that's keeping them from doing that is the high interest rates. And so what the builders are seeing is that right now it's time to increase, it's time to build. And the cool thing is right now builders are offering such good incentives that it's become cheaper and more cost efficient to buy a new home than to buy a used home. I mean, this is a historical event. Just like those 2.5% interest rates, right? Those 2.75% interest rates that we were seeing in, right, post-COVID, with super cheap mortgages. And I mean, it was something unrealistic. It was a once in a lifetime phenomenon. Same thing is going on right now, because the rates shot up. The builders have inventory, their profit margins shrunk, and they're giving that away now to the consumer, to the buyer. So before, and I want to give you this comparison, in 2020, 2021, in order to buy a new home, you had to overpay by 10 or 15% compared to resale market. And new home builders, you would go to a development, everything's sold out. There's not even a lot you can buy. It's 8 months to wait to get a new home. And what was going on? There was bidding wars on homes that weren't even built. So prices were being pushed up so high. Builders were in a place of abundance. I mean, they were giving no incentives. They actually dropped their realtor commissions. But in 2021, D.R. Horton, Lennar, they were paying 1% on the buyer side for broker compensation. And so that now the tides have changed. They're actually offering 6%, right? Because they're giving bonuses away, because there is less people buying. But the facts we have to understand is that these builders, they're able to take their profit margin, shrink them, and pass that on to the consumer through rate buy downs. I mean, I'm seeing all over San Antonio 5%, 4.5% rate buy downs, 5.5 by Perry Homes. And so these incentives are being passed on to you, the home buyer. And it is now, we were talking about in 2021, a new home costs 10 to 15% more. Now a new home, when you look at the payments, is cheaper than a used home. Because of the incentives, new home builders have made it cheaper for you, the home buyer, to buy a new home. Now let's go back to where we started. And I want to just kind of make these puzzles all come together. What is better for you, the home buyer? And maybe you have to sell first and then you want to buy. And there's actually programs that lets you buy a new home before you sell. And basically they give you cash, you go make a cash offer, you buy your new home, and you have 6 months to sell your old home without paying for 2 mortgages. And this is such a strategic move, because you can buy a home now with cash, negotiate it down in the slow season right now during the holidays. I mean, people are not buying a lot. You could take that cash offer, negotiate, jump into instant equity, and then you can sell your house in the springtime when the market begins to pick up, because this is an annual seasonality. I mean, these strategies right now, you definitely have some good moves you could make if you need to sell and buy, because you could buy now on the slow and then sell your house when everything picks up in the spring. Let's jump back into it. What is a logically better decision? to get a lower interest rate and a higher price, because let's all agree on this. When the interest rates go down, the prices of homes go up. And the reason for this is because the demand. The lower the interest rate, the higher the demand, the more competition. When there's a lot of competition, when there's a lot of demand, prices go up. So you have to understand that lower interest rate is going to come with a 10 to 15% premium on the price. This is something that a lot of people do not understand. They don't calculate this. Option one, let's wait for the rates to fall because that is a better time to buy. Option B, buy now when there is low competition, when there's low demand, when you can negotiate a price, a fixed price, you can lock that price in, you can get the incentives and use that, hold that, and wait for the interest rates to fall. And so when you have the price locked and the interest rates end up coming down, you can refinance into a better payment. And so that's just a bonus. That's a cherry on top. If that doesn't happen, right, for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, that's totally fine. Because why? You got a discounted price. You got a brand new home that is ended up costing you cheaper than a resale home when you compare the payments. And we have to know by history, rates always will come down, whether it's in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. There will be a time where this 7% is going to be a 5%, a 4%, and you can refinance into that lower payment. So to make this all come together, wrap it up, the conclusion, ultimately, as a home buyer, maybe you need to sell first, you need to buy, upsize, downsize. When you make this decision, you have to kind of get out of your emotions. You have to turn on logic and you have to really compare apples to apples. What is a better choice for me? Do I really need to move? Can I take advantage of this market that is right now slower? There's less competition. You know, is it better for me to buy in an environment where I can make a well-informed decision without being rushed, without having to expose myself to risk by waiving inspections, waiving appraisals, like what people are doing in high stress environments with a lot of competition, overbidding, overpaying, right? That is such a stressful way to buy. So friends, when you make these things and you weigh out the options and you actually begin to look at the things that builders are doing, people are saying prices are going to come down. We're waiting for the prices to fall. We're waiting for the rates to fall. Well, the rates already went up to 8%. They're coming down already. And the housing market didn't go anywhere. Maybe it come down a little bit, but it went back up. It's pretty flat, if I would say. But if you're waiting for anything else, once those rates begin to fall, we're gonna see a flood of buyers, millennials, Gen Z buyers. There's so many millions and millions of people that still need to buy their first home. And once those rates come down, we'll see a huge flood into the market, and it's going to be a lot more difficult to get a good deal. The inventory is going to be tight. There's going to be more risk in buying. So if you have any further questions, if you're thinking about selling, thinking about buying, you want to make an informed decision, I spend a lot of time boots on the ground, going through new developments, talking to new home builders, asking for all of their incentives, and really getting a feel for how can my clients get the best deal. And I want to tell you one thing, that I work for you. You are my client. You are the home buyer. I do not work for the builder. And that's the benefit you get. You get full representation. You have a professional, right, who's savvy in negotiation, savvy in market knowledge. They're representing you. You're not going to builder direct. And the builder is actually paying for that. They're paying for your representation. And that gives you an upper hand, because when you go directly and you work directly with the builder, with the salesperson there, I don't want to say anything bad because I have a lot of friends that work there. I just know that the level of representation is going to be different when you have somebody who's working strictly for you, or when you're working directly with the builder representative whose interest is to represent the builder side. So if you have any questions, give me a call. All my information is below. My name is Roman. I am the founder of Gold Real Estate Group, real estate at its finest. Thank you for staying with me till the end. I'll see you on the next one.